go.
Okay, here we are, Class 3. I can't believe the week went by so fast, Jimmy.
Well, you know, it is that time of the week when we're going to have a little more fun, Kevin. We're going to put a little spark in my life again. Gets the cheer
That's
going.
great. What time's the concert tonight? You're all dressed in black. I figured you're going to be...
Well, no concert tonight. I just happen to be in a rush going out the door at 4 a.m.
Just grab anything in the dark.
Is it there? Yes, thank you.
All right, great. Well, I see. You did a great job on the refinishing, and this isn't going to happen to us anymore with this going up.
Yeah, a little bit of work with that. It's still, I want to put a coat of shellac on it, get it all kind of warm.
And you can do that even after it's been upholstered, as long as you're careful. People often ask, can you do something like that when it's upholstered? And you can, so no problem.
Okay.
So we'll continue to go. So I think our focus in the beginning of this class, we may get to the seat, but let's focus on the back, because we still need to do a little work. Did a great job in restoring the back last week, but I noticed, just wanted to show the camera, they ran this little bead of, it's even smaller than a finger roll, which is the small one, which I'll show you. Now you guys should probably know, see, that's the smallest roll, pre-made roll that I have.
Okay.
And this has this is probably handmade, but we don't really need this. It's a little cumbersome for where it is, so I think what we're going to do is take it off and not replace it.
Okay.
This is a little too big,
and
I don't think we need it. It's unusual to see it in that area, so the first task I'd like you to do is take this off. Notice how they didn't even have it underneath here.
No.
So it was almost like an afterthought on their part, I think.
Yeah, kind of. It seems like this chair is a makeshift of two different styles.
Yes.
A quick repair for something else. I don't know when this, I couldn't even tell you when this was done.
Yeah. We see a lot of that over the years. People are repairing, upholsterers will get a chair and they're repairing rather than restoring. Unfortunately, you got caught with the hot potato on the back here and you had to do the restoration.
Yeah, well, I'll hunt that person down.
I think they're long gone.
I don't know. Well, I just like to give them 2 cents in my mind.
I think they're in upholstery heaven somewhere.
Okay, well, if they are, God bless them.
There's a lot of fluff up there, maybe. They're using that
a little too much cotton, I say.
It's okay. I'll get going on that, and then I'll give you the next step, okay?
Sounds good to me.
Show people what I'm going to be working on is this dining room chair. You'll be hearing me tapping over there. So these 8 dining room chairs came to us. 2 of them they were broken up at the top here. So we sent it out to the refinisher. He did a pretty good job, but usually that's where these break. The problem with these is that people lean back on them and they break them. People don't know how to sit today. So I'm going to be trying to clean this up. I already went through one stage of cleaning it up. Now I want to get a few more of these staples. I really have to be careful because the refinisher put a little finish on this, so I have to be careful. So at some point I'll show you how I did. I'll bring it over. The thing about these is the backs, you know, the outside back's put on first in reverse so that you see it. It's kind of a feature, but they're really hard to do. You have to be real careful when you're taking these apart. We're going to show you next is
these nails may have even split the wood a bit, Kevin, too.
Yeah.
You know?
They use nails in that, huh?
Well,
let me see.
Is that like a number 6 tack there?
That's a 14 or 12 ounce tack that they used. And they're so close to the wood that sometimes it splits, so you need to hammer that down. So here's what, in my 8 dining room chairs, I have this oval foam that's been placed on the front of it. So the outside back goes on first. You put a little, like a half layer cotton over that. Probably like if you can get a piece of webbing on that would be great, if there's enough room. And maybe even a cross section of webbing and burlap. And then the foam, and then a half a layer, usually, on over this. So you'll be hearing me tapping. Wish me luck on this, Jimmy. This is hard.
Oh, may the force of upholstery be with you.
Thank you. Oh. So what I'm using over here, Jimmy's using his plies. He likes to use his plies without his mallet, I guess, sometimes. But I like to always use it. I have an awl and I'm lifting the staples. I guess it depends on if you use what you have. If you have staples, I think the awl is good. A short awl too, not a long. The longer the tool, the less control you have. So you want to make sure that you have a small awl, which is just a pointed screwdriver pretty much, and a mallet and your side cutters. So I'm lifting the staple. I'll show you in a minute, and then taking them the rest of the way out, hopefully with the diagonal side cutters. Not cutting the staple, but just kind of rolling the staple.
Well, it looks like this is easy to do, Kevin, enough.
All tacks in there, Jimmy?
Yeah, all the same thing, no staples at all.
Yeah, we like staples, don't we?
Oh, yeah, well, only in minimal use. I mean, I hate to go crazy on mine.
I'm glad to see you cleaning up, because with your refinishing now, we'll tell people at home. Notice that Jimmy is working on a pad. Are you all done with that, Jimmy?
Yes.
He's working on a padded bench, so he wants to be careful. If he turns this, which he's about to, one tack will ruin your refinishing, so I'm looking for the whisk broom, Jimmy. I don't see it.
What? No whisk broom?
Yeah.
What kind of place is this?
You can use that broom, but I would take the time to make sure that all your... I would even put this down.
Oh, look at this.
There you go. See, isn't that a resourceful man? You can tell Jimmy works in a shop somewhere other than here. I think he's moonlighting on us, folks.
Oh, what? What? I don't know what you're talking about.
He's doing another online class somewhere.
No,
in the greater Boston area.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll put this up for you. How's that? Okay, now that nice coconut fiber. Where do we have it, Jimmy?
Well, it's right next to you, you young man. I think that...
So what we're going to do is we're going to put this down. Put it towards you.
Okay.
We're just going to... I want you to lay this in here like you think it's going to... There is a front and a back to this, right? The front should look a lot cleaner than the back. So lay it in there and see what you think. Because we talked last week that cotton, coconut fiber, horsehair, foam, nightgowns, all come under batting.
Okay.
And some battings are better for certain areas.
So first it's horsehair, coconut hair.
Not necessarily in the order of goodness, but
Right.
the best the best is the horsehair.
Okay. But you wouldn't find that today anywhere.
Well, we do. We can get horsehair. It's very expensive.
Okay.
But it comes to us in a box about this size.
Okay.
So this I believe is a 5-pound box of horsehair.
No way.
Only.
Okay.
And it comes loose.
Okay. You
So
have to.
you pick it. Again, usually what I do is I pick it again with my hand and then a handful at a time. It's the same way they did this coconut fiber.
Okay.
Coconut fiber comes loose too. I don't think you can get coconut fiber anymore.
Probably one of those non-items you'd have to.
Yeah. So what you're looking for when you're testing a batting, especially the first batting that you put on, this is the most important base, right? Is you're looking to see if it has body And I think it has great body. Just push down with both hands just to kind of get a sense.
It still kind of comes back.
See how it has a bounce back?
Yeah, this I like. I feel it more here, but yeah,
that's really good that it does that.
Okay.
So what we're going to have you do, Jimmy, I'm going to have you frame this with the staples.
Okay.
To secure it. But you see how this wants to come over the edge?
Yeah.
That's what I want you to do. Just over the edge if you can.
Okay.
I don't know. You might have to spread it out a little bit to make. You don't have to worry about the bottom. So I want to show people that's actually pretty important. They actually upholstered this correctly.
Okay.
So on the bottom, he's got an open arm chair, but he also has an open back. So you want to keep the bottoms not overhang. It doesn't come around the bottom.
No.
You want to keep that line nice and straight. So this is one of the subtleties of upholstery. I'm going to put this up to show you. So everywhere else. Are you okay, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Do you want a glass of water? We'll just show you while you're... Do you want the Heimlich?
No,
I didn't even think
not
of that. So this is going to be stapled right here. And the rest is going to be stapled around, if you can, around and in here. So I'm going to get a couple going for you, just to see.
So I'm molding it from the chair arm all the way around to the other side.
That's right.
Okay. Did you lose your...
We're looking for my staple gun.
What?
Well, you can't lose
Did
a staple
somebody take
gun.
that?
Unless the smuggler came around here and took
Smuggler? Oh, do we have those here in this fine state of confusion?
See, smugglers get blamed on everything. My first thought was a smuggler came in here and took my staple gun.
Poor guy.
So you really need to, on this is a long nose. I don't know if you're used to using this. Did you use this last week? I can't remember.
No, I did not. I used the other one.
This one's the long nose is a little bit, harder to use. I think there's less control. You see how I slipped?
Mm-hmm. So you really have to slow down.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have you, so what I was just checking to see if I could take the coconut fiber over the edge in a good way, but it wasn't working. So what I'm going to have you do is just come to the top. Be a lot easier for you. Just do the top all the way around, staple to the top.
Oh, okay.
Even if you have to push it in to do it, but leave that clean.
Okay.
So that's called a transition line.
Okay.
So we're going to take care of that with other batting, though. We're going to come over the wood with other batting, and you'll see that in a minute. So I'll let you go forward with that. You might want to. There's a chair over here, Jimmy. It's really important to get in position when you're using your pneumatic staple gun, right?
I think I need some staples, Kevin.
I thought there was some in there. Let me check this out. So let's get that release. There's some in there. Let's just see. Sometimes what happens with the gun, let me just see. Yeah. Sometimes the slide sticks, so you have to, the way to fix that. You're okay now.
The world's a better place?
Yeah. So you got a little hollow in there, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think what we want to do is just put a couple of stitches in there. Not we don't have to go crazy. Just get a few. I'll show you how to do that. But what I want to do is fill my hand around here, the edge here, just to see what type of nice edge that got a nice edge there. Our base, I like our base, so I'm glad we kept this. I think we almost threw it away.
Well, matter of debate. I mean, how well, given the fact that it's not the strongest of, horsehair I've had.
Yeah, but I think it's really doing, for a base, it's really doing good. We're going to put more stuff on it, but we'll see. So what I want you to do now is take a curved needle. We're going to get one of our big curved needles. And if you didn't have a curved needle at home, you could take a straight needle and do the same thing, right? But a curved needle makes it a little easier. I'll show you. Usually what you want is the nylon, the tufting twine. And Jimmy, what you want to do is, you're going to cut a piece maybe about 2 yards off this. You're going to thread the needle. And all you're going to do is you're going to thread the needle and go try to catch the burlap or the webbing. Usually the burlap by itself would probably be better. You might have to look. Might be easy to get through it. I want you just to go in and out, and maybe 2 rows. Okay, just the best year.
And right here in the middle, just in the middle.
Yeah, just about like 1 row here and 1 row here, in and out. What determines the length of the stitch, if you're wondering, is the needle. So you want to go in. Do you want me to do one for you? Just
sure.
To show
let's see
you?
what.
Yeah.
Well, why would you not try to do the webbing too? Attach it to the webbing, give it a solid
it's a little harder to go through the needle. It brings up a good point. I have 2 types of curved needles. I have a diamond pointed curved needle, and I also have a regular pointed needle. And I'm just looking for the end to this twine. Sometimes the ends can be a little bit. Technician to do
years
that.
Years of.
How many years of schooling did that take?
Well, God, thousands of dollars and a lot of hours. Okay.
Your parents must have been proud.
Well, Mom was. Dad's got it still on the fence.
He's wondering why he spent all the money. Anyhow, so for each row, you might want to get like a yard.
Okay.
Or a little bit more. Okay.
Right.
So I'll do the first row, I think, for you, and then you can do your left-handed.
Yes.
So you're going to be going this way.
Yeah.
Probably be easier for you. So as a right-handed person, it's probably going to be easy for me. Oh, so I wanted to make a point about the needles. So I have round-pointed and diamond-pointed. If you have diamond-pointed needles, which I've been told you can still get, I didn't think you could get them. One of my YouTube people said, hey, you can still get diamond-pointed needles. That's a diamond-pointed needle. So I'm going to change threads. I'm going to put my round-pointed needle away because I already felt that was a little tough to get through. Let's see if it's easy on your diamond-pointed needle. Another thing I noticed about the diamond-pointed needles, they give you more of a hole to thread.
Yes, I saw that too. I noticed that.
So this doesn't have to be, a fancy stitch at all. I'm coming in and I'm coming out. Look, and that did go through easier, by the way. Then you can get this knotted.
Oh, okay.
Get a knot on the end here. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. The idea is you're just trying to secure this a little tighter. You don't want to pull this too much to create divots. Right? So, you're just going, I'm going to come over here. It's not really a back stitch. It's more of I'm coming here to get this on the surface. See? Watch. And nothing fancy, really. It really isn't. See, I'm getting a surface stitch. I want to see a long stitch on the surface. How's that sound?
Yeah, you want to see some space.
So then when I come back here, I'm not going to go close. I'm going to come all the way back here in order to get a long surface stitch, right?
Kind of double back.
Yeah, I don't care what's happening in the back as long as I'm attaching it, right? See? And then I'm going to get one more, I guess. Well, we can go a little bit back, or even up or down just to get it.
One more time.
Yeah.
And then tie it off.
Now I'm going to look to see. Yeah, there we go. And then just to tie it off, you just go through the loop here, right? And then you can get a knot in there. See that? Very simple. Not anything too
How many
fancy.
hours of practice did that take, Mr. Kennedy?
Well, doing it sideways is kind of challenging. I'm not going to ask you to do that. You're going to have your back to the camera, but
that's okay.
if you could do another row,
yep,
I'll be A-okay with that.
All right, sounds good to me.
And I'll be back to inspect that.
Hey, really? Oh, God, now I'm in trouble.
I think what we're going to do is get this prepped up for our next step, which is batting, more batting over that, a little softer batting usually, and it's going to be the batting that we're going to put underneath the fabric, so it's laid. So far we have, just to review, we have webbing, we have burlap, we have the old coconut fiber, which provided a nice base, and the next thing is either cotton or bonded dacron. So I'm going to make a decision for you for the bonded dacron. I'll tell you why. The bonded dacron with the coconut fiber is okay. Bonded dacron is a porous material.
Okay.
So if it were horsehair, I wouldn't be advising this. But on the coconut fiber tends to stay put. Horsehair, however, is more needle-like, and that's what actually gives it the quality of the bounce. So you don't want to use dacron over horsehair. You want to use muslin. You can use cotton by itself. If you're going over spring seats, you need muslin and then cotton over the horsehair. So it's important to know what battings to use. And I hope the people who are watching this are really getting a good understanding of which battings to use and where, and what transition lines are. So the thing about this chair too is the back is not overstuffed.
Right.
So that's one of the nice things about this chair. Okay, so you get all the. It's like, it reminds me of a Victorian chair. Victorian chairs, all of the seat. It's all about seating in Victorian chairs, and they minimize the backs, which they did on this.
Okay.
So this is a crossover. It's got Queen Anne legs, and it's got. This reminds me of arts and crafts. I call it the arts and crafts chair, open arm arts and crafts chair, but. It's interesting, you should be thinking about what is the original. That's why I like to keep padding sometimes, and the original, well, remember what I did, because the original design of this is just what, as I said, minimize the back, and it's going to be overstated in the seat because you have a separate seat cushion too. So you have an upholstered seat and a separate seat cushion.
Right.
So now what I'm going to do is, so the bonded dacron, another good thing about that, it takes the place of muslin and cotton. Because it has a quality that you could stretch, not too much. You can rip it, but you're not going to be stretching it tight. So I'm going to show you how I want this done. And actually, bonded dacron also is good practice for your cuts around your arms, and I'll explain that in a minute. So the way to approach this, just like when we put fabric on, right? So I cut this for you, Jimmy, but usually when you measure from down here to up here where the wood is, add 3 inches. Side to side, add 3 inches overall. It's just like the fabric. Let me just make sure that we got our measurements. You see, so she is just enough to wrap where I want it to wrap. So what I want you to do, that said, is I want it on the bottom. I still
wrap a little bit on the bottom around it.
Well, I'm just feeling this to get an idea. Yeah. I'm going to get you started with a couple of staples on the bottom. I'll tell you why, because it's a little tricky to do. Okay. If you don't mind, I do that, do you? I'll step in at various
This is your show, Kevin, so. This is my show. You'd be taking that.
You'll get your own show someday. Actually, we try to make the students the show, because they're the ones asking the good questions.
So I'll come up with my new magazine, Upholstery Quarterly.
So I'm gonna staple this around just like this. That's it. The reason I did is because you have to staple upside down. Now what I want you to do, Jimmy, with the staple gun, I'm gonna show the camera this.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to the top. Okay. You're gonna staple to the top right in this area. See where these tacks are? These tack holes are?
Yeah.
You're gonna try to be halfway there. Okay. Like halfway. Try to be careful not to miss, okay? So you may want to lay this flat like this on the top. Get your staples on the top. Then what I want you to do is I want you just to get one staple on the side, just one, right here, and just a little stretching. You don't have to really overstretch this, okay? Okay. And then I'm going to show you how to cut the arms, because that would be the next step. So you're going to secure the top, one staple on each side, and then I'll show you how to cut.
Wow, I'm getting way too much information, Kevin.
Was that information overload? Would you like me to
well,
break that?
No.
Good, Jimmy. Stop right there.
Okay.
Go to the other side now. You don't want to go too far down.
I'm on a roll here.
Yeah, but you're doing good on the top. So, using this is hard. Jimmy's working really blind. He's using his fingers to judge where the edge is and being careful he doesn't staple himself.
Yeah, because then... I think it needs staples.
Probably.
Yeah, because we don't have a first aid show coming up anytime soon.
No, I understand, CPR has advanced and most people are training it, teaching it wrong anyhow.
Well, don't go knocking the medical community.
No, well, I think these are, other places. Speaking of which, I had a fellow in here today. I'll wait till after you stop. Right there's your last staple, Jimmy. I had a fellow in here today about my age. He was saying that he carries a defibrillator around with him. Do you believe that?
Why?
I think he was pulling my leg. Do you?
Why would you do that?
Just in case.
In case of what? He's going to do himself? Okay.
You can do the other side.
That was the joke of the day and not.
Don't want to discuss.
Yeah, we'll go into another. I think we should have stayed with first aid.
He was joking because I think he had just had heart problems. And
oh God.
He was trying to make light of it. Okay, that's it. All right, so I'm going to bring this up. Show the camera. So he's going to take his. You were a little too close on that one. I'm just going to show. See, this has a bit of fold around the arm. You can see it. This one's torqued a little bit this way. So what I'm going to do is, this is good that you did that. I like the fact you came down a little too low. I'd rather have the staple up here. So the reason is it's going to interfere with your cut. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit just to secure it on the side, right? Like that. Okay. Now what I want you to do, you're going to do this yourself. Now you can cut it. You see, you torque it down here and see it get a better fold on it. See?
I got a better idea of where it should be.
So your cut on the fabric, it's different. The fabric is really tricky on these because the arms are so thin, they're flat. Mm-hmm. So that the cut has to be really precise. So that's why this is good practice for people.
Okay.
And if you're using muslin, you can use muslin too. I think muslin's overrated in an application like this. Muslin and traditionally in upholstery was used over springs and horsehair. Mm-hmm. And it was used so that you can adjust the horsehair over the springs with the regulator. That's the main purpose. So when people who do a lot of slip covers, they kind of made the transition to upholstery. They brought their tradition of lining everything to the upholstery world.
Okay.
You don't really need to do that oftentimes. But,
a quick fix is
actually it's more work. It's like upholstering twice.
Yeah. True.
So what I want you to do is fold this and try to figure out the best angle to that arm. You only need one cut, I believe. So just go straight and go right to the arm.
Yeah.
Okay, and that should get the Dacron around so that you can continue stapling. You got that?
I think I can handle that.
I think you're doing really good today, Jimmy. You might leave with a gold star.
A gold star? Really? Any cash prizes? No, I guess not. Well, that was a little snicker. That was a snicker. Thank you very much for admitting to there's nothing there for me in the end.
Anything you find in the chair is yours.
Yeah, okay. I think there might have been 6 cents, probably.
I found a mouse trap in the chair once the hard way.
Did you kind of like reach for it when you shouldn't have?
You get a mouse trap on your finger, Jimmy?
Yeah, and it was still set, correct?
It was set, yeah.
And you want both sides, correct, or just one?
You could frame the whole. Actually, good practice, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Good practice is to cut one side, secure it with the staples.
Okay.
Then cut the other side.
Ah, okay.
Good habit to get into. You know why? Because if you overcut, you could still make a small adjustment if need be, without cutting both of them. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay.
How's it look, Jimmy?
Well,
I'll just feel that edge for yeah, it's got a good edge on it.
yeah,
Still.
it's nice. The Dacon really worked.
Yeah, good.
You know, a lot better than I.
Yeah.
Now, what would the cotton would have done the same? Would have been a little less on the thickness, right?
The cotton, the nice thing about cotton is you don't have to staple it.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's a little harder. We have this is going to be upholstery ready,
Okay.
and then we're going to focus on the seat.
Mhm.
So another choice of the batting, that type of batting, was that it can stay like that while we work on our seat. It's not going to move.
All right.
Cotton, you put it on. And now some people do staple cotton, but I don't think it's a good idea. You have to be really good at trimming, and you have to be ready for the upholstery if you're going to use cotton too.
Okay. Well, here's a
Right.
question:
Mhm.
if you had used cotton,
Yeah?
would you have used like a
One
stitchy-
layer.
One layer, but also
Yeah.
would you have stitched it like you did the?
Yeah, that
Okay.
still had to be secured, because what I felt when I felt that is a hollow. You don't want
Yeah.
any hollow feeling in batting.
Okay.
So what that did was it married the coconut fiber to the burlap,
Okay.
so it's not going to move. It's not
Okay.
going to create that effect. That effect in upholstery is not really good.
No. No.
And
you
people
wanna-
associate things like that with a poor job.
Yeah,
You know.
I would. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to feel the fluffiness. You want
Yeah.
to feel firmness.
Yeah.
You want to be able to feel like
Yeah.
I sit back, I have something that
Something uniform.
I don't want to feel anything. I don't
Right.
want to feel the frame.
Right, exactly. So that's really a good feeling for that chair.
Okay.
Batting choice, I think we're on target.
Okay.
And of course, your fabric, when you put it on, it's going to be put on tighter than anything.
Mhm.
And that also adds to the overall feel
Okay.
in a good way. It's
Okay.
going to stretch. It's going to stretch out nice.
Okay.
The fabric that you picked is a nice fabric too.
Yeah, I mean, already I can feel this. It will
Yeah.
putting the material on it after. This will
Yeah.
be a nice back
Yeah,
into it.
yeah, it
Adds
should
a
be
lot
good.
more to it.
Yeah. So.
I think when I was sitting on it before, it felt like it was.
Well, you must have been
intricate.
falling in. You were falling into that hole that was there.
Oh, it was not. You just felt like and you weren't even pushing back. You were just sitting back.
You probably needed to see a chiropractor after sitting in this
Oh
chair.
no, I don't see a chiropractor.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay. I'm not that bad yet. But, you know,
Well,
at
thank
any
goodness.
time I could go. You know, things happen. Kevin.
How do you like it?
I'm impressed with it. Yeah, you can always see, you see the form, you can see it's building up there. So there's going to be some nice padding for the back.
You just got one more thing to do. You're going to make little cuts, angled cuts. Let me show the camera this. Again, it mimics the fabric, how the fabric's going to be done. Mm-hmm. It's good practice. Do you have any idea how you would cut that if that were fabric, how you would cut it? Most people pick that and it's wrong.
Really?
Yeah, most people, cutting I think is really difficult for people.
I think because
well, what would be your goal? What is your goal?
If I cut it this way.
Right. What is your goal though with the fabric? Let's pretend this is the fabric. What is your goal with the fabric to make that corner as neat as possible?
To bring it up?
Yep.
Yeah,
bring it out that way and this way. But
okay.
What else?
So
what a lot of people don't understand this. It's this way. I'll tell you why. Because when you cut it this way, you actually have a pleat going to the back and to the around here.
Okay.
So what that does too, which is really important, some fabrics are fray a lot. Mm-hmm. So what that does is it closes up that point too, because you have to go right and we just lift that up. See that? You have to shoot for that. This is an exact cut. It goes right to that point. Okay. So if you were to cut it this way, which most people pick,
okay,
for some reason, you have nothing to pleat over here.
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
If you cut this way, you have pleat on both sides.
So, okay.
So I'm going to leave you alone with this. I want to see, you're going to have to cut the other side too, and then you can finish up your stapling. Okay, I do want to make one more point. That can fold under and go to the back. Okay. Like, right?
Okay.
You can even, if you have enough, you can just, you can leave that if you want.
Okay.
This piece has to be trimmed. So on your fabric, it would be trimmed, and people will see this when you get to this point. Mm-hmm. Your fabric is about an inch down or 3/4 of an inch down. Mm-hmm. But on the Dacron, you could cut it straight. Because you don't really necessarily want, this is important, you guys, you don't necessarily want a pleat in your Dacron.
No.
Because it's going to create bulge, right?
Right,
bulge.
too much.
Okay. Jimmy's going to try to do both of those and then secure it, and then he's done and he can trim the bag. Want me to check out your work, Jimmy?
Yeah, sure, Kevin,
Okay,
if you think
So I'm just going to move this away. You don't need this. We're going to be doing some hand stitching now.
What?
Yep.
You didn't tell me this way.
I'm going to show people a neat way of prepping the bottom, on how to prep the bottom using bonded Dacron. It's kind of cool. It's a really good way that I think I devised it, to be honest with you. But instead of using muslin, we can use the Dacron too on the bottom.
Okay.
And we saved our pieces, I believe. I'll dig them
Yes.
out, but we don't have to worry about that quite yet. But I'm just going to see how this worked out. So what I'm doing with my hands, I'm just feeling that transition line. I want you to do the same. Just feel for any bulging. You don't want any bulging or anything like that. And if you did feel bulging, what you want to do, an old-time use of the wooden mallet, right? People don't realize this. Upholsterers would be having their mallet. A lot of the work was done by hand with horsehair. So you'd see an upholsterer get to a point like this with muslin, and he'd just be hammering down. Actually, I just felt the staple that was up there.
What?
So hammering it down, actually, I hammered the staple in a little bit. Sometimes the staples don't go in all the way. Yeah, I'll send the bill in a minute. So here we go. So you got a little overhang here. You want to take care of that now by just pushing it up. You can actually just kind of tuck it in. You want to keep the other thing that's important. I'm going to get actually a staple in there. What's really important is to get your horizontal lines free for the fabric to go around. So your fabric has to, see that horizontal line on the bottom? Your fabric has to pleat at that horizontal line. There's nothing worse than a pleat that comes down like this and goes off the line. So a lot of times you see that with people, amateurist people, they will do that without knowing how to. I'll show you how to do it when you get to that point. But it's important to keep those lines free. So I'm just going to pop a staple in there for now. Another staple. So that's what I'm looking for before we move on. So I'm just going to pull that up just a little bit. Even if it's up a little bit angled over here, it's fine. And then I'm going to look at the bottom. Okay, so you got a little bit of a problem going on here. So these are the things you have to pay attention to, and sometimes this is how you learn. I'm going to get my side cutters. So that horizontal line, dude, sometimes you have to get down below and see this, right?
Okay.
It's just I picked this right up. You see how you're low?
Yeah.
You're way low.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to go in there and I'm going to try to get the staple out if I can. Oh, we were lucky. It came out. So you can go back and do a little refinishing in there.
Yeah.
But that would have been a bad thing for our fabric.
Okay.
Because you would have to take the fabric down there. You see, you really got to keep this open.
Right,
yeah, so I'm just going to cut that. I'm just going to cut that off to show people. That's really important. Right? Yeah. You'll be able to fill that in.
Yeah.
So you see now my fabric is going to come like where the bottom of my finger is. Right?
It'll wrap right to it.
You did much better on this side.
Yeah, that was a little tighter on that side.
So I want you to trim this up.
Okay.
So I'm satisfied.
Really?
Yeah.
Another gold star?
Another gold star. You're going to be leaving here on a Milky Way with so many stars.
I know. I'm delirious already. All right, Mr. K. Oh, yeah.
So it's like sometimes we staple on top and then trim it there, but the I still think you're doing pretty good with it coming over the edge. It's fine. It was a little easy for you to staple there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And easier for a beginner. It's okay to do this, but you've seen in other YouTube videos where I stress not doing it. But in this case, it worked out good because you still have an edge.
Okay.
But for people beginning with that gun, I think Jimmy made the right choice because stapling up here with trying to stretch it and staple at the same time can be a little dangerous. So pulling it over is fine as long as you trimmed it up nice and it's good.
Well,
you still have a good line.
If I cut it to the top, what you say?
Right.
Would I have to build up the
No. When you cut it, you cut it even so that when your fabric comes over, it brings it over just slightly.
Just enough.
Yeah, but this is fine.
Okay.
Okay, especially with your fabric. Now, if you had a really thin fabric, I would have stopped you because I saw you do that. I said no, it's okay on his fabric.
Right.
Let me just show you the fabric because
Okay.
I got it right here. So I didn't stop you because I said no, if the fabric's gonna pull out nicely. Jimmy's got a nice heavy upholstery fabric, which I recommend, by the way. So what that means is that when he comes around here, around the inside, he's going to be able. This will pad out nicely. It'll mat down nicely.
Okay.
So it's not a problem. But this is excess that on a thin piece of fabric.
Oh, then it would show.
Then it would show.
Okay.
So you'd have a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I mean, because this is kind of a little.
As a matter of fact, what I want you to do is just trim that up just a little bit more, like right there. I felt that's probably the other thing that you'd be good at doing is going around, kind of, like so. Just putting your hand down. This seems to be a little padded out here too. So I'm just gonna take a little bit off, and that's good.
Okay.
Great. So, the next step, Jimmy, let's turn the chair around facing people, right?
Yeah.
And let's work on the seat. So we determined that this being a, let's just show people, a drop-in unit, I think it's in pretty good shape. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah,
because it had been repaired. It had been repaired. This is the old one, but on top is the repair. Mm-hmm. So right, we determined
they
that
They didn't strip anything off. They just kind of added to it.
Yeah, but I think it's okay. Now, do you feel like you'd want to go down to the frame on this, down to the spring on this?
No, I think it's good the way it is.
I think you might want to keep it the way it is because
actually, the burlap seems still strong.
And we're going to be building on that.
Okay.
So we're going to be
if it was
good.
The old, which is really bad.
Now, 30 years from now, and the next upholsterer comes along, maybe it will be you, Jimmy. We don't know. Maybe it'll be me. I don't know.
And then I'll have my own show.
Then at that point, it might have to be taken down to the frame. But now I think we're okay with just the restoration. I mean, the repair. So what we're going to do is sew some bonded Dacron around here. And I'll show you how to do that. But first, let's get our pieces that we saved. Okay, so we're examining the old pieces here, and there's something that I don't like about this is that they use a piece of foam that they just kind of, it's a 1/2 inch foam that they just kind of, it's in there loose. Yeah. That's never a good idea. So let's take that out. Take that off. Remove it from the cotton if you can, carefully. Okay. So we're not going to reuse those. So you see some elements we like, some elements that we don't like to reuse. We reused the coconut fiber and added a piece of bonded Dacron in the back. And we're moving this loose foam for some reason that they have here. And the cotton is fine. I mean, it's just going to be a filler in this case. So I just want to show. We're going to be, next time, we're going to be showing you the full restoration on this seat. And I think people are going to be really interested in this seat because these are difficult seats to do because, like I explained in the other videos, is that these aren't upholstered arms. So usually you just have one seam across the front, right? And you can hide all your mistakes underneath the upholstered arms. And there are mistakes that happen. On this one, you have 3 seams, right? And it attaches to the back, and they got to be nice and tight and clean. Okay. And that's hard to do. Okay. Because it shows. The cushion sits on top of it, but we want to do a nice job. So just to review for next time. We're gonna. There was a deck piece that we have this piece of cotton over here.
Yeah.
We're gonna reuse that for
Okay.
the seat area, and then we're gonna stuff out with our extra cotton these areas, these hollow areas here,
Okay.
all the way around the chair.
Okay.
And then we're gonna take some rubberized horsehair, and we're gonna stitch the rubberized horsehair around here, and then attach it to the front. I'm not sure yet how we're gonna attach it. If we're gonna bring it over, or if we're gonna try to tuck it in. I'm not sure yet. Probably a tuck in there. Probably.
How would that be with regard to holding it all in to stay firm?
It's going to be great. It's going to
Really?
be much better than the foam. So what happens when you leave anything loose underneath the fabric is it shifts. So
That's what I was wondering.
yeah.
How.
So this is going to be secured. You're going to hand stitch it over here.
Right.
It's going to be a blanket stitch that we're
Okay.
going to use, and I'll show you how to do that next week.
Okay.
And then we're going to staple probably on the inside here. We're going to probably move the cotton in like this, and then staple the. This is a very hard treatment. You know, it's a hard edge treatment that we're going to do. And then over that, we're going to put either cotton or Bonded-Acron.
Okay.
Okay, so next week, a lot of work. And next week, we promise we're going to have an overhead set up so that you can see what Jimmy's doing. And be prepared, probably not getting that done in one class, but maybe
Really?
getting it done. I'm not sure.
See how
But
it goes.
what we're trying to do is get it upholstery ready next week, the seat, so that your entire chair will be upholstery ready.
Wow.
So next week's exciting. We got some exciting classes coming up here with Jimmy, so we're glad he's with us. And what time is the concert?
8:30.
8:30. Thank you. I'll be there.
You sure?
Yes, I'll
Okay,
slip
it's
through
not
the
past
side door.
It's not past your bedtime.
Well, actually, I hate to admit it, but it is.
You're living dangerously.
Thanks, Jimmy. We'll see you next time.
All right, Kevin.